According to the Qur'an, what does obedience to God and His Messenger mean? According to the Qur'an, obedience to God and His Messenger means obedience to God's commandments sent to His Messenger. Why? Because God is not an entity that takes every human being before Him and speaks one by one and transmits His commands and prohibitions. God has given His commandments to people through a messenger of His choosing. Therefore, the order to obey God in the Qur'an comes as obey God and His Messenger. Why? Why is it that obey God is not mentioned by itself in any verse? The order of obedience to God always comes in the form of obey God and His Messenger. In no verse do we see a statement like obey God by itself. Why? Because when there's an expression as obey God, automatically a question rises. That is, how should we obey God? Of course, the answer is by obeying the messenger. Already, this is expressed in verses as obey God and His Messenger. Here, the and connector does not point to two separate authorities, God and His Messenger. Let us explain this by giving an example from Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 1, which is a warning from God and His Messenger. No commentator in no interpretation writes that these are two separate warnings from God and His Messenger. Herein there is the and connector. In that case, if the and connector separates the two things, then we need to say there are two warnings to the idolaters, one from God and one from His Messenger. But we don't say that. Why? Because this is a warning from God as communicated by His Messenger. So obedience to God and His Messenger, likewise, is obedience to the commandments of God, communicated by His Messenger. It is obvious that this is in relation to the Qur'an. So is rebelling against God and His Messenger. Therefore, whoever obeys the Messenger obeys God. Surah An-Nisa chapter 4 verse 80. Because the Messenger of God communicates the verses. Whoever rebels against the Messenger will rebel against God. Therefore, obedience to God means obedience to His commandments sent by His Messenger. The practical equivalent to this is the Qur'an.